Welcome, beautiful souls, to the Beyond the Belief podcast. I'm your host, Lavender Loveway. With each episode, I invite you personally to join me as we explore a belief. It might be a widely held idea or a forgotten truth, or perhaps even one that feels unknown or deeply contested. This is a sanctuary for exploration, a place to absorb, listen, and learn with an open heart. We're shedding the heaviness of right and wrong and ascending into the lightness of greater connection and expansive knowledge. Today's episode is no exception. This is another precious opportunity to find a little gem or two of wisdom that helps you reweave your own tapestry of truth. So I was channeling a message this morning that moved me so deeply. I wanted to kind of talk it through and share it with y'all because, you know, those moments when you just receive something and you're like, oh my gosh, so many things make sense. So I'm hopeful that this will make sense for you as well. So imagine our life journeys. We're basically in little boats and we are on what I'll call the Superconscious river. So essentially, we are floating. At sometimes we are just really gently floating. Other times we start to get into like maybe some rapids, or we get into larger flows of river. Maybe there is some obstacles. Maybe a cute little beaver has dammed the river. Maybe there are pieces of ice that are floating by. So essentially, we're continuing it on this journey on this superconscious river. And what they described to me is that this river has basically a current that's pulling us down the river and we can feel it. And it's essentially guiding us towards our highest good. So allow me to refer to that kind of current as pull. As my guides shared, it's like the pull of your soul. And you're following, but allowing for the pull. And the moment that I heard them say this, I literally, like, holy cow, I can relate to this feeling of feeling the pull. But then obviously your ego mind or conscious mind is like, wait, where are we going? What's happening? Why are we going down this river? Wait, are we okay? And starts with the 20 questions because it can also feel the pull. But what they continue to illuminate is that as we're floating along, let's say, on this beautiful superconscious river, it's a loving pull that can at times feel intense. It can even feel frightening and can, in fact, absolutely feel these feelings when we are grabbing, clenching, or trying to hold on to the illusion of having control of it. And I'd like to read you a little excerpt from what they shared. This flow can feel charged because it is, and it can pull you into it. And along the pathway, and for those who are not wanting to relinquish control, the sense, the pull, the urge, the feeling is just too much. It is too grand. There's too much of a central force. So the beautiful thing that as I went back and listened to the channeled message, and it's interesting channeling because you can feel a lot of it, but as you go back and actually are able to kind of fully focus on it, all of these beautiful like illuminations come forth. And basically my guides were reframing this central force, if you will, quote, quote, this thing that's pulling us into it. And often it can ebb and flow. Sometimes it's more intense, sometimes less. But the key here is that it's not something to be forced. It's not something to be feared. It is a loving, divine, sometimes even course correction. If we have deviated too far off the path, or we have tried or attempted to try to grab our paddles and paddle our little hearts out to the side or the place or the area where we feel is best, which often is that place that might be even opposite to this central force or the pull. It's pulling us towards it. And in many cases, as the river, this superconscious river, is gently guiding us and our soul that's so beautifully held in this boat back to, let's say, the center of where we should be, or essentially where we planned to be before we incarnated into this gorgeous Earth planet, where we intended to be, they further shared this. This is where the power lies. The pull is the correction, the North Pole, the North Star, the divine path. And what's so beautiful is that thinking about centering us, getting to that point where we're being pulled into a direction that we might not know where we're going. So they described that many humans, and I can relate to this, absolutely, that this divine pull of our soul, of our boat, can feel very scary. It can feel constricting, and especially can feel these things when we fight it. It's often because of our ego, because we cannot see the final destination or the direction in which we're, let's say, being pulled towards. And that lack of trust, and instead focus on lack of knowing, creates and generates the fear. And here's another excerpt. And what humans do not understand often is that the pull is divine. Yet if they are not connected to it, do not seek to be connected to it, it can feel constricting. It can feel scary because it is going in a direction that is not known. But what they so genuinely reminded me of is that regardless of this pull that we're feeling, this force, this, whether it be super correction, and this is why we feel a lot of intensity, or maybe this is getting really close to something that we need to experience. Instead of clenching, we allow because we are cared for. My guides went on to say, there is a whole team of guides, as you call them, directing the boat. Shall we say that the being is on the flow of the river, on the superconscious river? This is flow. And suddenly when I'm hearing this, I'm like, holy cow. This is what we often refer to as flow. What a beautiful metaphor that we're on this superconscious river. And I can have gone river rafting, right? And gotten into some interesting rapids. And I will say from experience that when you fight it, when you develop this fear, when you're trying to paddle or you're trying to course correct, sometimes you do have to go with the flow of where you're being pulled and then correct from there, or observe from there. Where do I need to go? What needs to happen? And yet that's also imagining that we are the captain, we are the ship, and we are the ones that need to figure everything out. But my guides were reminding me that we don't. We don't need to figure anything out. We need to allow the flow to pull our sweet little boat with our gorgeous little soul where we need to go. That's what we need to do, if you will. There is no, I need to be rescued, or I'm alone and I have to make this decision and I got to make it now because clearly I'm being pulled down this little, fairway on the river and I don't know where this is going and I don't know if I'm supposed to go down here. We are surrounded and loved and cared for by our gorgeous guides on the other side of the veil, helping our boat, helping anticipate the needs of where our boat is being directed, what things are in our path that we cannot see, but they can. And this is where the faith and belief element comes from. And as I frequently say, what you believe is what you receive. And in this case, if you believe that you are cared for and directed and that you're going in a direction that your guides want you to go, where you need to go, or where your higher self desires you to go, all can fall into place. So what I invite you to do with this beautiful message of today is to embrace the pull. That pull that you feel that can often feel scary, especially when we're not used to flowing. It's then about asking for support. Your guides are there. They've always been there. They can't intervene without your permission. They can't come in and clear things out unless you allow them to do so. But by traveling down this gorgeous divine river, which we all are traveling on, The key is to ask for support, ask for help, ask for vision, ask for clarity. They might only be able to give you what's most immediately in front of you, because that is what is most appropriate for you to hear at the time. They will never share something with you that you cannot handle. So know that in your heart. They are sharing something with you that you need to know, that's appropriate to know. And they are there to help support you as you travel down this gorgeous, gorgeous superconscious river. I am sending you so much love and light in this gorgeous moment for your travels. And if you can, I invite you to contemplate that pull that you feel, what fears or beliefs you might be hosting or holding in your heart that make that scary. Instead, make that into synchronicity, into solidity, into divinity. And so it is.